Hey, what's up, what's up, what's up? It's Raging Crow, that guy with the throne, and I'm here with the Rocket Brown Man, and this is part blank. I don't know what part of what makes a Sonic game work.
Welcome back to What Makes Games Work. We're still in the Sonic franchise, and we're covering the gameplay now.
Part are we on?
We finished the characters. We're on part 1 of game design for Sonic games.
No, don't say part 1. You're going to make it more confusing.
I just told you, of game design.
Oh, no. Okay, so in this section, we're going to talk about game design, obviously, as the title gives away. We're going to start off with the 2D era, and then later on, we're going to blast our way into 3D. What makes the 2D games work? What does it? What makes the 3D games work? What does it? And how to improve them now if we were to do a game such as that involves that.
Right, and we're not just talking about 2D games in the classic. We're talking about 2D games in general.
I'm looking at you, Sonic the Hedgehog 4. Fucking asshole game. Terrible ass game.
Oh, jeez. Actually, you bring up a lot of people. The majority of Sonic fans talk about going back to the roots. Ah, yes, the roots.
Yes, and you know what?
The Kunta Kinte roots.
Before we even talk about chopping off Sonic's feet, I want to give a quick statement to you fans who say Sonic should go back to your roots. You're wrong. And I'm not going to just say, oh, you're idiots, let's move on. Here, let me put it to you this way. Sonic's roots. Sonic 1. The game is terrible. The idea of speed and platforming hasn't been very well implemented. You only have 2 levels that focus on nothing but speed, barely any platforming that you care about, and the rest of the levels are solid, like slow, very methodical platforming. The Sonic formula wasn't fully perfected until Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and shit came around. So
I would say Sonic, in terms of level design, I'd say Sonic 2 was a step forward.
Oh yeah, of course it's a step forward from the first game. That's not really hard to do in Sonic's case. But it wasn't perfected, is what I'm saying. They didn't have the full balance of speed and platforming completely done tight yet. Games like Sonic 3 completely did it right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, don't stop saying Sonic should go back to his roots. He shouldn't. No, we don't want him to go back to his roots. Me and Rocket Brown here want Sonic to evolve. And doing 2D does not necessarily mean going back to roots.
Right, and keep in mind, we don't hate, like, Sonic 1. It's just this formula wasn't there yet.
Yeah,
Sonic 1 was still... Sonic 1 was a perfectly fine game, but it didn't do a good job at mixing the speed and the platforming just yet.
And Sonic 1 was the first attempt, so I'm not going to be like, oh, you guys are terrible. I mean, some people really don't like Super Mario Brothers 1. But hey, World came out, Super Mario Brothers 3 came out, and they perfected that shit when it came to Mario and the 2D, platforming.
Mm-hmm.
So, games like Sonic 4, which say they're going back... I have played Sonic 4 Episode 1 and 2, and I don't remember a single level. Actually, no, I do remember one. I think I told you this. Dude, I remember the casino level from Sonic 4 Episode 1. Why? Because
Because it's Casino Night, so...
No, it's not because it reminded me of anything. I only remember it because I keep trying to get all the Chaos Emeralds, which, by the way, the special stages are bullshit. So, I keep trying really hard. And I've had to replay that deck of cards level where you write decks of cards over and over again because special stage blows. That's the only reason why I remember that, is because I've had to keep doing it over and over again. But
that's sad.
Sonic 4, if that is your attempt at going back to roots, I'd say let's like the roots all together.
Here's the thing. It's like the thing with Sonic 4 is that it didn't even try to go back to its roots because the control wasn't as tight as the classic games.
Right.
It uses it uses the Sonic Rush engine. So with that, you're trying to mix in 2 different gameplay elements from 2 different gameplay styles. It just doesn't work together. You got Sonic from Sonic Rush trying to go through Sonic 1 type levels.
I agree. But we're not here to just bash all over those games. We're not. We're going to talk about...
You are.
I will. But, yeah, we're going to talk about what made each game in the 2D era, for every 2D game that came out, what made them work. And if Sega wanted to take a crack at another 2D style game, which I'm not fully against, that could be totally cool if done right. What tools they'll need and how they can go about perfecting it. Now, the first thing we should establish is the Sonic formula. Platforming. Jay, you're a big Rocket Brown, whatever your name is. You're a big platforming guy.
I am a platform enthusiast.
Yes. So tell me, what is the basic formula for a platforming style game?
Well, for a platforming style game, you got your running and jumping, but the thing with the Sonic series takes the average platforming style and it develops it in a way so it's a lot more fast paced. It's not as punishing as other platformers. Keep in mind, in the classic games and in 2D games in that era, you didn't notice a whole lot of bottomless pits. Something that was very more occurring in other platformers.
Mm-hmm.
Later 2D games abuse bottomless pits too much. One case is Advance 3. I don't know if anyone's played Advance 3, but Advance 3 was an ambitious title, but it suffered from cheap level design and bottomless pits where bottomless pits shouldn't be. Same thing with Sonic 4. There would be bottomless pits, and they would like force you to do like the homing attack chain and stuff, and that doesn't like work all the time. The way Sonic platforming worked in the classic games is because they made they put their levels in different layers. So you had your upper roots and your lower roots and stuff.
Yep.
And if you were to miss a jump, you didn't die. You just went to a lower root which was more challenging.
Yeah, or
that was your punishment.
If you managed to get to the upper root, good luck.
Yeah,
you had to really have really quick reflexes to maneuver Sonic speed and avoid like gaps and whatnot. And a Sonic platforming style game does not work the same way as a Mega Man game works or a Mario game works. Now, for those of you who think platforming is just a general term that applies to all games, it doesn't. A Mega Man game is very slow and methodical, very much like it's almost like a puzzle, You have to sit there and watch things play out a little bit and then figure out how you're going to walk around and move, just like Castlevania. So, you're going to take your time with a Mega Man game. You're going to take your time with a Mario game, especially like in levels where, bullets flying all over the place. I think rushing this level would be kind of a dumb idea because I will get killed. So you can't do that in a Sonic-style game. Why? Because you have speed. Speed is Sonic's main attribute. So if I had to stop every 5 seconds, then it would be a basic platforming game. It wouldn't be a Sonic-style game. So keep that in mind when it comes to Sonic games and how it differs from its platforming brethren. There's a lot of platformers out there, but not all of them are created equal, and a lot of them are very different. Even though it just seems like, they always jump on platforms and stuff. Platform, no, fuck you. Pay attention, kid. Get your notebook out.
Also, keep in mind, Metroid's another good example. You don't see bottomless pits and spikes in a Metroid game, but that's a platformer. It's because it wouldn't work for that style of gameplay where you have to backtrack and shit.
Yeah, and also, wouldn't it just be weird? Why am I constantly falling out into space? Physics are weird.
Hell, Sonic CD got that right. There's only one bottomless pit in the entire game. That's the final level. And that's because they knew you had to backtrack, because that game centered around exploration.
Now, what makes Sonic platforming different than other platformers is the fact that, like I mentioned, speed, but also the way the level is laid out. Like you mentioned, there's a higher level, there's lower levels. So Sonic games do have exploration. You can find different ways to get to point A to point B.
Right.
Now, with Sonic games, I think what other people don't realize is how the level's laid out. It's very subtle, if you notice things. Like, a lot of people complain that, there's way too many bits where Sonic can just run around and I have no control over things. Yes, there's that for a reason. Why? Because Sonic is fast. So we're going to have sections that show off speed. Do you have a problem with that? Go back to Mario. Go back to Metroid. Go back to, Mega Man.
Yeah.
I love
also,
alliteration.
keep in mind,
that all worked out. Mario, Mega Man, Metroid. Huh. But, yeah.
I was going to say, keep in mind, I think Sonic 3 was able to implement it so you did have control of the speed because they're implementing certain gimmicks like the spinning drill tops in Marble Garden Zone.
Right.
The faster you run, the more the more you would move the drill and stuff. That was smart. That was a smart way of using Sonic's speed and like platform.
Because Sonic's gameplay is a mix of platforming, but also Sonic's gameplay is very spectacle-based, You kind of marvel at this, like, tiny little blue hedgehog who's just bursting through levels, bursting through loop-de-loops and shit. It looks cool. It looks interesting from a player perspective. But it's not just automatically running through loop-de-loops the whole time.
Right.
There are...
Like Sonic 4.
Yeah, like Sonic 4. Fuck, But, like, games like Sonic 3, you'd have, like, a cool-ass, like, automatic section. Like, take Stage 1 of Angel Island. The very end of the Stage 1, you're going through 2 loop-de-loops, and you need to put a clip of this here so everyone knows what we're talking about, man. So they're going through the loop-de-loops, then he climbs into that gold building, and he just runs around it. Now, after you get out that little gold pipe thingy, whatever it is,
there's a tree trunk.
Yeah, tree trunk. Okay, because it was a weird color. I didn't know it was a tree trunk.
It was a tree trunk.
You learn something new every day. But after you get out the tree trunk, it stops. Why? Boss time.
Cuts. Yep.
So, if it was a cool automatic bit the whole time, it wouldn't fucking stop. You would have been able to see a boss level. Now you got the boss level. But this boss level is different from all the other ones. Why? Because it's not a boss that you can outright kill. And that means that you start up all over again. You start up at level 2. Everything's on fire, shit's happening. But guess what? You don't start off with a super long automatic bit when the game first starts off because the game may just stop.
Right.
So, you start seeing enemies, you start going through those, you start seeing different routes and stuff, and it flows nicely. Sonic games have to have a good balance of the automatic bits that have you running through loop-de-loops and looking fast and being awesome, but also they'll stop you. They'll either make you stop at the end of a screen, or they'll launch you up into the air, or you may hit a wall or something, They'll stop you, and then you'll realize, oh, there's enemies. Time to start playing strategically.
Right.
So, you want to know what makes the formula work? You got to stick with that if you're going to do Sonic. This is my problem that I have with Rush. Rush completely throws that shit out the window. Cheap level design is an understatement. Now, you'll be like grinding rails or some bullshit, and you'll be like, okay, Sonic automatic bits. I'm used to this. This happens all the time. Oh, wait, bottomless pit.
Right.
I had to literally, like there were points in the game where I'm just like, this game is blindsiding me.
Right.
And it happens a lot. In Sonic 4, you get blindsided. And this is where...
I think it's worse than Sonic 4 because you're literally... It's like the game is playing itself for you because of all the speed boosters and springs that are just constantly moving.
Correct. So the point is that they tried to take the Sonic formula, but they threw too many aspects of what regular platformers have.
Right.
Mario could get away with blindsiding you because... or Mega Man could definitely get away with blindsiding you because, oh, you tried to rush this game? Did you really? Really try? Oh, you never played Mega Man before, have you? This is why you die. Mario, you tried rushing this shit? Well, guess what? You get fucking wrecked.
Right. And we'll explain that more once we get into why it doesn't work in the next part. So, see you then.